Oh, what up, boys and girls? We got another one. Today we got Reckless Ben. I did not cover the first two videos. That the second video was kind of more just them dealing with all the police bullshit. Gotta grab a drink real quick. The first one was pure fucking cinema. So I just I it was like that was a lot. Actually, I didn't know who Asmund Gold or Asmund Gold. I didn't know who Reckless Ben like was when I first saw the video. It popped up in my feed because I guess everybody was watching it, and didn't really pay any mind because I was like, yeah, Legos. I don't give a shit, whatever. And then I saw Asmund Gold watch the same video, and I was like, oh shit, this is fucking great. So I ended up watching Asmongold's version of it because, you know, just he only added like, I don't know, 20, not even 30 minutes to the video. And it was just fantastic. It was so good. And because he just had like the most basic reactions, of course, but it was just like he was just amazed by this guy. And yeah, that first video was fucking amazing. So we're gonna watch the third video here. Just dropped like an hour ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and just react to it because I was late to all the other shit before, so I didn't really get a chance to react to it. I did react to another Bricks and Minifigs franchisee who actually came out and basically told a bunch of shit about the owners, Josh and Brandon, so the owners are Ammon McNaff. Is it McNaff? Yeah, Ammon and Matt McNaff. And then there was Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best, and just kind of told everybody about he was looking like a podcast and told him about a bunch of told everybody about a bunch of shit that they were doing to him, and yeah, it was not a good look for Bricks and Minifigs, but I never really covered the Reckless Ben thing, so I jump into this here and been dying to see part three drop. I'm so glad they dropped the gag order. They I guess they I know Crystal Law and her husband. Uh, it was something Gorman or something like that. But Crystal Law, Crystal Gorman, like I don't know what she go. I think she goes by Crystal Law, but so Crystal, I'll refer to her as, and she kind of came in with her own lawyer. I think they moved out of the country, and actually came in with her own lawyer and said like, hey, you can't put a gag order on this because I'm speaking. This is my free speech, like here as well, being infringed upon. So this is not even having to do with Reckless Ben, just my free speech was also being infringed upon by this gag order, kind of separate of whatever case you have going against Reckless Ben. And they ended up updating, thankfully, the gag order, removing that and allowing Ben to post again, so that's good. Yeah, she's not really a part of the case that Bricks and Minifigs has going with Ben, but yeah, I think I don't know, man. There's been a whole lot of updates to this, and I've seen a bunch of lawyers and different people commenting on it. So let's just jump into it.
I'm about to go to court and
Since I watched the Lego videos, though, I have watched like a lot of his other videos, and this guy is pretty fucking amazing. Like the shit that he does is so fucking great. It's sort of like half journalism, half activism, and it's kind of amazing. If you haven't seen like his stuff on the McCamey Manor, which is like some fake haunted house over in Tennessee. He did a Scientology series. He did a series with like the 12 Tribes cult, which is like apparently like a sort of international like cult that tries to like lure people in. Um, and he's done a few other things. It's great. So yeah, go check out Reckless Ben. I'll leave a link below, of course, to all the stuff. So
I don't even know what I did wrong. Yeah, Bricks and Minifigs is making up tons of lies about me to the police to try to get me thrown in jail so I can't release my documentary about them. But the crazy part is I'm not even allowed to know what they're saying I did. Legally, I'm not allowed to film inside court, so I formally requested the audio, but since there was no visual, I hired an animator to animate over it.
of course he did. And it's all Lego themed too, I'm sure.
Right now, I kind of don't even know what I'm being charged for because all of the body cam footage has been redacted, and they say it's to protect the victims. However, I think there are some redactions that maybe don't make sense and that weren't to protect the victims, and there's some things being said about me that are redacted.
The evil judge. Apparently, this judge has been kind of a dick and has really sided with Bam like already, and that's why the gag order was initially enacted. And there was a huge like TRO that was put out. If you don't know what that is, temporary restraining order, which is basically something they put out generally in a lot of all kinds of court cases. They'll put that kind of stuff out, especially civil cases, because they don't want certain parties talking about the case and all that. And usually it's on. I feel like usually it's on like both parties, but in this case it was just on Reckless Ben and Bam. You know, you could see him and McNeff coming out and talking about the ongoing proceedings and stuff like a lot throughout the last few like weeks. So it's good to finally get Ben's perspective on it. I'm glad that he's able to talk again, because that's some bullshit.
Actually, I don't know about.
I do have some concerns in this case with the defendant representing himself. The allegations here relate to the fact that the defendant, he's a person he's a YouTuber, who creates videos, publishes them online, and has been.
So this would be, I'm assuming, the Bam's lawyer, who apparently Bam hired a hell of a law firm. I don't remember the name, but apparently it's a very expensive and very good law firm. So that's going against Reckless Ben for sure. So, but you know, hopefully Ben has taken everyone's advice and actually gotten a lawyer. So I have no idea. It doesn't sound like he does, because he's talking in the court. So that doesn't really. I don't know. I guess hopefully he will get enough money to actually get a lawyer involved. I know there's been multiple like things trying to get. I think there was like a Gift Send Go set up for him by Sean over at Actual Justice Warrior. That he set that up for him because he knew that the Patreon or not the Patreon, the was it Kickstarter? What was it? What's the thing that people set up? The GoFundMe was actually like taken down because you can't use it for legal stuff or something. So it was some bullshit. So there's been multiple ways he's been trying to like gather some money for legal proceedings. So if you can afford to give him something to help him out, because he definitely needs a fucking lawyer, please do it.
If this defendant were to represent himself and we were to provide body cams and discovery, we would be now providing additional information and fodder for this defendant to create videos from which he could profit by placing them on.
Oh no, this might actually be the criminal stuff then. Okay, sorry. I was thinking this was the civil stuff. So this might be the criminal stuff. They're talking about body cams and all that. The civil stuff is going to involve all the that's other stuff, but this might actually involve the criminal stuff. I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to find out.
YouTube at the expense of our victim. I have serious concerns for that.
Yeah, the state of Utah is claiming that if they tell me what I'm being accused of, then I'll use it for content on my YouTube channel.
Well, they have to tell you what you're being accused of. I believe that's the Fifth Amendment. They have to tell you what you're being charged with. So they must have gotten some kind of printout or something, some kind of charges like that were actually filed. But I don't know, because we've heard about the stuff like the civil RICO stuff and multiple things that were filed in civil court, but like I'm assuming this is the criminal thing. But if it's criminal, they definitely have to tell them what the hell the charges are.
And they can't have that. They're arguing to the judge that the best thing to do is to not let me know what's being said about me, which is very strange, but that's their argument. And just in case you haven't been following along with this whole Lego story, this is all happening because I stepped in to help a family who got their Lego collection stolen from a company called Bricks and Minifigs. And for the last couple months, this company's been doing whatever they can to get me arrested so they can keep all the Legos for themselves. And this isn't even just me speculating. One of their own employees literally told us what their plan was.
I got a call from my boss and it was like, how do we get them arrested?
Dang.
How do we get them arrested?
But eventually, Bricks and
They're fucking newest cult member. If you haven't seen the first video, go watch it. It's fucking great.
Minifigs found out that I'm not just some random kid. I'm actually a YouTuber making a documentary on the entire scandal.
So the YouTube guy is named Reckless Ben. I don't want to be on YouTube.
Yeah, this is when things really started getting crazy. Bricks and Minifigs went into ultimate defense mode and was going to do whatever it takes to prevent this documentary from coming out. First, the police got a call saying I had heroin on me.
This officer is going to conduct the search of your person because
This shit's great.
And obviously, they found nothing. But then they got a call saying that I was the one that stole the Legos. And I got swatted by the entire police department.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
And we all got arrested. But right when I got out of jail, I got a warrant for my arrest for some mystery crime that I committed.
It seems like this guy might live in LA, or his last known address is in LA.
Yeah, the police showed up to my house all the way in Los Angeles to arrest me without bail.
He was like, just tell him he has a warrant for his arrest.
And I believe this is when he was in Mexico, because he apparently just went to Mexico in the middle of all this. Which, I will say, probably doesn't look good if you ever want to be able to post bail, or bond out. Like, that's, yeah, it doesn't look good whenever you, like, just leave the country in the middle of stuff. So, maybe a bad idea, but still, it was hilarious.
But the police couldn't arrest me.
Any idea where he actually is?
No idea.
Okay.
I was somewhere very far away. But anyways, back to court. The judge is looking at signing a protective order to protect Josh and all of his statements about me. If this protective order gets signed, then I'll never be able to find out what he's claiming I did.
I got bad news. I don't think we have any more budget for animation, dude.
Oh shoot.
Oh shit.
So how do we animate this next court scene? I guess if we have to not pay the lawyers, then I guess the animation's more important, right?
No, don't do it. Don't do it. No, man. Don't do it. Motherfucker. What?
Yeah, we decided maybe the lawyers are actually more important.
Oh,
so,
God.
yeah, we ran out of animation budget. Sorry, guys.
The court's inclined to sign this pretrial protective order unless you have an objection to it, Mr. Schneider, and the objection to such an order.
Yes, I think there's a bunch of misunderstandings in this.
Oh my God, that's so fucking hilarious. They just move and fucking shit around the screen like they're animating it. That's so fucking hilarious. Oh my God. I can't do this.
Case, and so this person doesn't want to get exposed, so he's making up a lot of lies about me to order to like get me arrested before he gets exposed. So that's what this whole thing's about.
However, before I was allowed to show any of the overwhelming evidence I have to support my claims, the judge didn't care about the evidence and signed the protective order anyways.
Mr. Schneider, the court's going to sign this order and serve it upon you.
Damn.
So the court has made it clear. They do not want to look at the evidence and they want to protect Josh and Brandon for some reason. And now I have to somehow fight a court case.
Yeah, so this must be the criminal stuff, because I know he did some civil stuff with Josh and Brandon, but I'm pretty sure this is the actual criminal stuff, because as far as I know, the only active civil stuff is through Bricks and Minifigs, which Josh and Brandon are not actually like officially employees as far as I know, but they're very closely related because they're sort of like, I don't know if they are employees or not, I can't say, but I heard that they had offices at the company, but as far as I know, they kind of just go in and take over franchises and stuff, but I'm not sure if they actually are directly employed by BAM, or if they just are kind of like a third party who's working with them. But apparently they also did that with the other franchisee that I was talking about. They came down and took over his franchise. So yeah.
Against all of these mystery crimes against me that I have no clue what they're even saying I did. So this whole mess is happening in American Fork, Utah.
Yes. Okay. So I know, as far as I know, BAM is located in Provo or Provo County, or I'm not sure. I don't know anything about Utah. I think it's somewhere in Provo, Utah. I don't know if that's a city or a county. I'm not sure. I think it's separate of the American Fork stuff. So the American Fork stuff is, as far as I know, so okay. So they had criminal stuff, I believe, in Provo, in Utah, because of them going into the BAM headquarters. Then they had criminal stuff, possibly criminal stuff. I'm not sure if they actually got criminal stuff filed, but they had civil stuff filed in Oregon against uh, Josh and Brandon, and then they had criminal stuff in American Fork, which is Utah, and then they had, I believe, civil stuff in, I would assume, Provo, where Bam is located, which is the big case that's kind of going on now. But this, I believe, is the criminal stuff. So that's what I'm assuming. 'Cause this is the stuff that they in the second video that they sort of came after him for harassment or stalking or whatever the fuck they were making up. Like they just made up a bunch of bullshit. He was just trying to serve him with court papers. So it's like, okay. And everybody saw how actually like corrupt the American Fork Police Department is. Um, and I believe they're supposed to have, if I remember correctly from the podcast that Ben did, they're supposed to have a protest at some point, a very peaceful protest, mind you, over the treatment of Ben and the actions of the American Fork Police Department. At some point, they're still, I think, trying to set it up. So, if you're in that area and you want to go enjoy a fun day of just peacefully harassing the police, yeah, there you go.
But I'm also being charged with another case in Provo, Utah. This is where
Okay, all right. So I'm not too far off. Okay, I mean, I'll just shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'm doing a little too much narrating, but I don't want to like not add anything here because obviously this is a very fresh video, and I'm not trying to like just play the video in full. I do have to add something to it. Um, but yeah, that's this is so this is where they're low. This is BAM. But yeah, okay. So sorry, I'll shut up.
corporate Bricks and Minifigs is, which is why I'm also being charged here. And this police department has surprisingly actually followed the law when it comes to discovery, and they sent me all the raw body cam footage of what I'm being charged for. Let's start at the beginning.
Well, good for them. Okay, good for them. All right. So yeah, Provo and American Fork are both in Utah. Is that? Oh, that's Emma McNeff right there. I see that mustache. I recognize the name from anywhere. Um, the original, uh, the actual franchise was in Salem, Kaiser, which I think Kaiser is like a suburb or something, like a small town like near Salem, Oregon, and that's where he ran into the issues with the police, like near the store. But then once he got into the second video where they had to kind of chase down these guys individually, they ran into issues with the Utah police in American Fork. And then, of course, Provo, they were going to the BAM headquarters and doing stuff. This is where this is Provo. So, yeah, sorry. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Getting the moment I first met the CEO. The reason I'm talking to him right now is because before exposing this company for the grand theft they committed, I thought it was in good faith to give them an opportunity to do the right thing first before I make a documentary about this.
You had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your store.
That mustache.
Never happened.
But the CEO did not want to take the opportunity to do the right thing and instead instantly called the cops on us.
Hi there, I'm calling to report a crime.
They themselves say, hey, you guys stole this product from this person. If you don't give it back, I'm going to burn the place down. Or we're going to burn the place down. Or I'll kill you. It's Ben Snyder who's been the one engaged in this behavior.
You can see in the police report that the crime he went...
Which, that's crazy because I don't even think Ben swears in these videos. Like, there will be swearing and he'll usually censor it, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've ever heard Ben like utter a fucking swear word, much less like a threat, like a physical threat. Like he's obviously threatened like people with like publicity or like legal action, but he's never like issued like a physical threat. I mean, I don't think this guy has a violent bone in his body. Like he really doesn't. So it's kind of crazy to think like somebody like Ben or somebody he's associated with would call in and be like, "Yeah, they threatened to burn the building down and shoot everybody up." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's That's wild.
Wanted to get us charged for is called extortion, which basically means we're threatening him into paying us, which is very illegal. However, obviously he's just making all of this up. The reality is, I just thought it was a nice gesture to give him the opportunity to do the right thing first.
If you guys do have our Legos, we just kind of want them back, you know?
But if there's one thing I've learned from this entire experience, it's that whoever ends up doing the morally right thing just ends up getting screwed over. So now it's time to play the way Bricks and Minifigs is playing and use their own strategy against them. Right now, their strategy is to get me arrested before I get them arrested. So now I'm gonna Uno reverse this and get Eamon, the CEO, arrested before he gets me arrested.
I see they have the animator back. Must have found some cash somewhere. This seems to be a common tactic of Ben. Just play the inner reverse card. Instead of them getting arrested, instead of him getting arrested, they get arrested.
But if I'm going to be the reason that someone's going to jail, I should probably make sure that they definitely deserve this. So I'm going to give them one more chance to try to do the right thing first.
No way.
But instead of doing the right thing and attempting to work this out, Eamon just hid in his little office.
Wait, that's a... Can you go back? That's a 2019. 11/02/2019. That's definitely in the Bricks and Minifigs off. I wonder if this was a video from the original people. There was another YouTube group that that approached Brian Mansell to actually like document what was happening here. I wonder if this is video from them, because as far as I know, Ben wasn't involved in 2019. This would have been before COVID. I mean, this was a while ago. So interesting. That's what is this?
In attempting to work this out, Eamon just hid in his little office. And he called the police on me.
I can already tell you right now, no one's coming out to talk to you guys.
Wait, what? Why does it say 2019? If this is Ben's video, now I'm questioning what is 2019? Because this is, as far as I know, this all happened in 2026, or at least maybe 2025 at the earliest. But what is 20? Like, this is 7 years ago. What, or 6.5 years ago? Like what? Okay, now I have questions.
Really? But they told us that they were.
I know.
Normally I wouldn't want to get someone arrested, but we gave him every opportunity to talk to us, so at this point he's just arresting himself. However, the only difference between my strategy and Bricks and Minifigs' strategy is I don't have to lie to the police. Eamon McNeff actually committed a crime. I have tons of crimes on camera that Eamon
See, now that says 2023. Are we just making up dates here? Like, what's going on with the timestamp? I don't know what this is. Because I like, as far as I know, this all happened in March, like around March of 2026, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Maybe it happened in 2025, but that wouldn't be 2023. This would be a few years ago. So I don't know. I know it doesn't take Ben that long to edit a video, so...
McNeff has committed. Let's start at the beginning with crime.
Let's start there.
Number 1.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
So who's
Brian Mansell.
Okay, and who is that?
I will just say that mustache is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason to have a twirly mustache in almost any situation, unless you're actually like you're like preparing for like a movie role or something where you need a twirly mustache, like you're Johnny Depp or something. No, don't do that.
He's a guy who had he had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Nope. Never happened.
Eamon was first trying to claim that he's never even heard of Brian Mansell, and this guy definitely never had any Legos in a Bricks and Minifigs store. But once we showed him all of the social media posts his own company made, it was very obvious that we just caught him in a lie. So the CEO decided to change his story, and now the story is the Legos used to be in the store, but the previous owner, Crystal, she stole the Legos right before they took over the store.
Back up the easy way.
We don't have the Lego. Crystal sold the Lego.
The only problem is their security camera footage of the previous owner getting kicked out.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours.
And just keep in mind, I will say here, the original video did say $200,000 worth of Legos. Apparently the Legos, oh my God, was that from my mustache? I just like felt a giant stream of water. Well, it wasn't water, it might have been beer, come down to my fucking hands. I think that was from my mustache. I was fucking talking. Whoops. I gotta shave my mustache back a little bit. I'm starting to get a little twirly mustache. You know, I'm like fucking amming. It's kind of coming out of my mouth at this point. Um, uh, so apparently the Legos were valued by the Bricks and Minifigs franchise at about like maybe $110,000, something like that. And if they actually put them on consignment, which I don't know if that goes through Bricks and Minifigs themselves or if it goes just through her personally, like through her own franchise. I'm not sure how that works. I have no idea. But apparently they put them on consignment for usually like something like six. So they would make around 35%, and the owner would get like 65%, which would mean that Brian Mansell's, at what he would get paid would be around $65,000, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken there. As far as I know, though, that's kind of what it was. Here's a different timestamp, 11/14/2024. So this is when this actually kicked off. That's why I was confused about the 2019 thing and the 2023 thing, because this is when this event actually kicked off. Was I think like late 2024, so maybe 2025 there was some stuff going on, and then 2026. I don't know.
Okay. He's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment liability.
Corporate just said that they're going to be the ones to take over the consignment deal with all the Legos that are still in the store. And as extra proof that these Lego sets were still in the store, the owner went into the back and started taking pictures of everything that you can verify in the metadata with the timestamps that match the exact moment she's getting kicked out. And then you can see her leave the store with nothing in her hands, proving that the sets were still in the store and the CEO is lying to us right now. But that's only one side of the story. I also thought it was fair to hear his side.
You sent a bunch of pictures of the Lego still in the...
Yeah, the timestamp says 2023. So what is this from? I'm so confused.
Back, and you can see in the security camera
and that's definitely Reckless Ben. So why is the timestamp saying 2023 when she was kicked out in 2024, according to the other timestamp? So
footage, corporate comes and throws her out.
Great. I understand what you're talking about, but you have a misunderstanding of what has occurred, and you're taking one person's word over another person's word. You need to go after the party that's responsible, and you don't want to because that's not easy. You have accepted a narrative that is not real, and you are continuing to pursue that narrative because it's easy and it gives you views and it gives you all sorts of clout and does all sorts of things that way.
So basically what the CEO is trying to explain to me is we shouldn't be looking at the evidence. Instead, I should just be taking his word for it because he said so.
Crystal Law was a former franchisee of Bricks and Minifigs.
Yeah.
She took Mr. Mansell's Lego, sold it, didn't pay him, she has his money.
But
she sold his Lego, she has his money.
To make it easier for you guys to understand the CEO's argument, we're going to demonstrate his argument with a little skit.
Oh, that wasn't a backflip. No.
Are you sure?
You have a misunderstanding of what happened.
Yes, this is the exact argument the CEO is trying to make. Something we just saw in video, the CEO is saying never happened, which would mean the CEO's lying. And
so here's the thing. I don't, because from what I recall from the original video, Brian Mansell approached Crystal Law with this proposition to sell, which I assume for her was a lot of inventory, approached her to sell the Legos. And he actually drew up the consignment agreement, which doesn't make a lot of sense. If you go back to the original video, he actually says this. He drew up the consignment agreement, which is weird because if this is a corporation, which with franchises, if they're going to put stuff on consignment, you would think that the corporation that owns the franchises or sort of like manages the franchises, whatever, you would think that they would have their own consignment agreement. But what I personally think happened, I'm not sure. What I personally think happened is that somehow Crystal drew up, or Brian Crystal didn't have. There was no like consignment thing in their like franchise agreement. Maybe there was, but I think Crystal may have drawn up her own agreement with Brian, or Brian drew it up and then agreed with it personally with Crystal through the business. And then he was expecting her to basically make good on this. And then when she left, he was expecting Bricks and Minifigs to actually make good on it as well. But they had no knowledge of the actual agreement because they never actually agreed to it as well. I don't know how it works when you have your franchise owner, a franchisee, and you have a corporate overlord, and I don't know how that works. So if anybody can enlighten me on that, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me like Crystal Law accepted it almost like personally and just tried to sell the inventory through the store. And I don't know. I'm not really sure. This is the confusing part is Crystal Law pretty much dipped the fuck out of the country and basically is sort of involved in a way, but like is I believe still out of the country. I think she went to like Europe or something. So like no one really has any idea. Like we don't I don't I'm not privy to this information and no one else is either. So like what actual agreement did Brian have with Bricks and Minifigs or not Crystal Mansell, Crystal Law? Um, I don't know, and I'm kind of confused on that. And if she was actually selling the sets and not paying him his percentage, because apparently, as far as I've heard, she was in debt. I don't know that for sure. That's what I've heard. She was in some pretty big debt. Why wasn't she actually paying him his percentage? Could it have been because she was using the money to pay off her debts to try and keep the store alive? And then when she figured out she couldn't keep the store alive, she decided, nah, let's just go to your job over there in Europe and yeah, we'll just fuck off. We'll just get rid of this franchise. Sure, they kicked her out, but she also didn't have, there was like I think about $200,000 in debt that she had. So, mm, you know, it's very weird. I am not accusing anyone of anything. It is a very weird situation, and I don't know. I'm, I'm just like I don't know I don't know who to believe. This guy looks very unbelievable. Emma McNeff, I don't believe him at all. His brother Matt McNeff, I actually would believe him. He actually seems like a very reasonable guy. Seems like a guy you could sit down and chill and play video games with or something. Seems doesn't seem that crazy. This guy has the face of a villain, and it's probably unfortunate for him. But it's just the way it goes, I guess.
Most people would
You can't
agree
help
that
that, I guess.
lying is morally wrong.
The fucking mustache doesn't help though. All this doesn't help. He can control this, but
However, if you lie about a crime, the way Eamon's lying to me right now, then that's not just morally wrong anymore. That crosses into new territory called illegal. The specific crime is called obstruction. If someone commits this crime, they can get arrested.
well, obstruction of justice, that's usually when you block police or investigators, like public investigators, from actually doing their job. Blocking you from doing an investigation as a private citizen doesn't really amount to obstruction, as far as I know. So,
We're at the police station, and we're going to charge him with a criminal crime, obstructing of evidence.
you're gonna charge him with a criminal crime, Ben. You're so naive. You have to keep paying your lawyers. Don't forget, who is this guy in the back? Is that fucking Kurt Cobain back there? Did we just discover Kurt Cobain like reincarnated? What the fuck happened there? What the fuck? He looks so detached from reality right now. Like, stop saying criminal crime. If it's a crime, it is a criminal offense. If it's a civil thing, it's a civil thing. Now, who you have the civil thing with, the government or a private entity, that is a separate thing. But yes, this is yes. So I don't know. You can't charge someone with a crime because you're not the government is the only one that can charge someone with a crime, essentially. You can report a crime, basically, and they can decide to charge him or not, but you can't like charge him with a crime. You could file a civil suit, and I'm pretty sure you know this, but like, oh, Ben, this is why you need a lawyer all the time. Come on, Ben. don't don't fire your lawyer for your animator, please. This is crazy.
Of a $200,000 theft. And good news for us, we found out last week that all of the police in Utah.
Again, this was probably somewhere around like if the product wasn't sold, it would have been around $100,000. If it was sold, it would be around $65,000 that was owed in payments. And there was a big split there because Crystal definitely sold some of the sets, and then there were some sets that were left unsold, and we really don't know exactly what that ratio is. Coffee Silly did a little bit of investigation on this. I will link that video below as well. Go watch that. But that was a little bit before a few more of the details of the case came out. So like, you know, you have to. We're yeah, we're gonna have to get through this. It's like there's a lot.
Take up.
I may split this into 2 videos just because I've only been in this for like 11 minutes, and it's like I'm at what? I have to piss so bad. What am I at? Like 36 minutes. Okay. I don't want the video to go on for too long, but I also, I want people to see what the fuck's going on. This was bullshit. This was a whole thing here. This is a criminal thing here, I believe. So yeah, we'll watch.
Obstruction very seriously here. The police arrested my friend Sheldon for obstruction just for locking his phone.
Right now you're attempting to destroy evidence. Okay, put your hands behind your back. I was just locking my phone.
You're under arrest for obstruction of evidence right now.
The crazy part is, the police didn't even have a warrant, so Sheldon locking his phone was 100% legal. But the police arrested him anyways because that's literally how serious the police take obstruction crimes here. They do not mess around when it comes to obstruction. So now, just imagine how angry the police are gonna be when I go into the police station and tell them that someone is actually, for real this time, committing an obstruction crime. And this obstruction crime is on a much bigger scale. Later, the police called me saying that they were going to do a police investigation on this.
Hey, Benjamin, this is Officer Halpern from Provo Police.
I told the detective the entire situation. He was saying that this family's Lego sets were never even in the store, like all of this stuff, and it's all documented. I have video of all of him saying this. I think he's like falsifying evidence, and I think that's obstruction. And now that we stole Bricks and Minifigs' strategy, I think the plan is finally gonna work. Looks like the CEO is going down. I mean, I submitted the videos of Eamon saying we're gonna burn down the building and shoot him.
They themselves say, hey, you guys stole this product from this person. If you don't give it back, I'm gonna burn the place down. Or we're gonna burn the place down. Or I'll kill you.
And then I submitted all the raw footage of the entire conversation I had with him, proving to the police that we never even said anything close to this. This raw footage verifies that everything I told the police is true, and everything Eamon told the police is a lie. On top of that, I even got access to the complete case Eamon made against me, and he doesn't have a single piece of evidence to support any of his claims. Which I guess makes sense. Like, how can you support evidence if you're just making everything up? Like, of course you can't submit anything.
So if the police have to decide what case to pursue, they're obviously going to pursue this case because it has like a ton of evidence. And then they're going to throw out Eamon's case that has no evidence at all.
The person you're trying to...
Only thing I will say is you could always turn off the cameras and go back and do more without recording. And then it's up to them to have the recordings of you doing that, because you wouldn't actually record yourself doing that. But again, I don't think Ben or his team would actually go in and make like death threats to the employee. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. These guys are, as far as I've seen, are really above board. They just literally just go in and try to get people to fuck themselves rather than go in and try and like actually cause like some sort of havoc. With the exception of like filing some lawsuits and stuff like that, which or like trying to get people to sign stuff when they don't know what they're signing, like that. I can see that being kind of an issue, but like they're not. These guys are not like threatening people with death and stuff. It's just, that's crazy.
The reach is not available.
Hello, my name is Ben Schneider. A couple months ago, I made a case, and you were the officer that was helping me create it. I submitted a bunch of evidence through a link you sent me, and this was a couple months ago, and I haven't heard anything back. And so I'm just calling to see if I could get some type of update on how the case is going. It's about the CEO, Eamon McNeff of Bricks and Minifigs, in an obstruction case. And so if you could give me a call back at your earliest convenience, that'd be awesome.
I feel like I'm just to throw it in again. I feel like this might have been better as like a filing a false police report, and Amy McNabb, I feel like it would have been better to try and pin him with like with filing a false police report because he's saying that you made a death threat and all that, and I feel like you guys probably could have pulled that. 'Cause they probably could have pulled your phone records and seen that you left when you stopped recording and all that. Like they're probably gonna have been something there where they, like it wasn't like you stopped recording, you went back onto the property and then made death threats. Like I feel like they could have done something there to kind of prove that. Um, and then even with like the no, that's pretty much it. All right, let's just continue. I was gonna say I was gonna go back to the other American Fork stuff, but it doesn't matter.
Your call cannot be completed.
Yeah, literally, no matter what I tried, I could not get a hold of this police officer. So I'm traveling all the way back to Utah to go back to the Provo police station in person to see how the police investigation against Ammon is going. And I just so happened to get a hold of the police schedule and arrived at the exact time this officer was.
Oh shit! Sorry, I had my mic muted. I was gonna say the other thing you could do is like file a false police report, file like a thing with a false police report for Josh for claiming that you guys had like heroin, claiming you guys were threatening him and all this stuff. Like just like crazy. And then they could probably subpoena like his doorbell camera, all that, and just see what the fuck was going on. Like just fucking crazy. I don't understand why it didn't really need to get this far, but unfortunately it did. So, ugh. So yeah. Anyway, here we go.
Was supposed to arrive. But before I could speak to this officer, one of the other police officers called into the front desk and asked to talk to me.
I'm not seeing him on duty right now.
Really? They said he was going to be here today at 3 o'clock.
There's always the chance that they might have called out sick or something.
Is there any way that you can like check if he's here or?
He's definitely scheduled to be here. Like I said, they might have called out sick or something.
Are you able to look?
Sorry, I'm trying to eat some food. Oh my god. Well, this play. I will say once again, this is saying 2023, and that's why I'm confused about the timestamps because timestamps can be easily edited into a video. It's not complicated. But what is up with the 2023 thing when supposedly Crystal was thrown out in 2024, like, a year later? So, like, why would he be investigating this when Crystal was thrown out a year later? Does that make sense? Like, it just, I'm really confused by that. And that's the only question I really have is because Ben has claimed that he has timestamped images of like stuff in the store and all this. So why would the timestamps in his video be so far off from the events that happened if they weren't either faked or like this was taken on like way too soon before all this? Like I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. So that's my only question here. I try to be critical. I try to be unbiased. So I'm just but I do have feelings. I do think that a corporation like Bricks and Minifigs is probably pretty shit. But this is concerning. I don't know what if this was submitted to court. I would, as a lawyer, which I'm not a lawyer, but if I was a lawyer, I'd be like, why does this timestamp so fucking off? That doesn't make any sense. So you know, when you have any kind of case, you're gonna have a timeline, especially with the criminal case. You're gonna have a timeline that sort of lines up with whatever. Why is this a year before Crystal was thrown out of the store, according to the other videos timestamp? That it doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Yeah.
Look and see how the case is going. All I really want is kind of just an update on the case.
That's not something that I can tell you over the phone.
Okay, you can't even just tell me like how it's going, like if he's still looking into it, or.
No, I can't. That's not something I can do.
Okay, well, thank you.
So basically, I came all the way out here to find 0 answers. But eventually, I did find an answer. They sent it to me in the mail. And looks like I was right. The police only had time to take on one of our cases. And it was Ammon's, not mine. Yes, the case that had an overwhelming amount of evidence, they thought that case was garbage. And they took on the case that has 0 evidence at all. In the police body cam footage, after the police watched my full conversation, proving that I didn't threaten to burn the place down or literally anything, they even admitted to Eamon that there was no credibility with his entire case against me.
We agree that.
I will say, this is hilarious. Can I just say, and
not mine.
I just want to
yes,
point this out.
The case that had no
evidence is spelled wrong. Can we? Is that supposed to be spelled wrong on purpose? Can we get just a little spell checking in here? But also
overwhelming amount of evidence. They thought that case was garbage, and they took on the case that has 0 evidence at all.
It's just hilarious.
In the police body cam footage, after the police watched my full conversation, proving that I didn't threaten to burn the place down or literally anything, they even admitted to Eamon that there was no credibility with his entire case against me.
We agreed that there really was no extortion code that would fit your situation. However, you know, at the end of the day, we do want to help you guys so you're not having to deal with this fool and
with this fool? What the fuck?
all of his issues.
Wow. Wait, I'm sorry. Was that the police that said that? With this fool? Because that changes a lot, but okay. Sure. Now the body cam here, as you can see, says 12/10/2025. I was under the impression this happened in 2026, but okay. Because 2024 was like November, and there was another YouTube group that got involved, and I would assume that would take some time. And this is like less than a month from when they got involved, right? So, oh, excuse me, sorry. I think I got something stuck in my throat. I was hoping this would just swing by and I would just be able to let it play, but apparently not. Okay, sure, all right.
We did find that there was another code that fit, and it's called aggravated commercial obstruction.
The police just told
aggravated commercial obstruction. All right. Which, by the
code that fit, and it's called aggravated.
Ben, I don't know who you have editing your videos. I don't know if it's you or your animator or what. Aggravated is not spelled with an I. I can guarantee you. I don't know what software you use, but it's gotta have spell check. Like, just use some spell check. Fuck. I don't know if he's rage baiting me, but like every goddamn other word is like spelled wrong, and I'm just like, fuck. This has gotta be aggravated commercial obstruction. I've never heard of that. I would assume. All right, so aggravated commercial shit. Commercial shit obstruction. Let's see here. So we can actually type it in, right? Oh, this is literally in Utah code. This is the first thing that pops up, actually, which is crazy. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. Building. Okay, so this is some definitions. Building is the same term as defined. Business enter. Okay, so an actor commits aggravated commercial obstruction if the actor enters or remains unlawful in the premises or in a building of any business and intends to interfere with the employees, customers, personnel, or operations of the business. Oh no, or so this is or. So or right. So enters the business or intends to interfere with the business, and intends to obtain authorized control of merchandise, property, records, blah, 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 alter, eradicate, or remove merchandise, records, blah, blah, or damage to face, destroy, blah, blah, commit. Okay, so he may have been actually guilty of this. This is, yeah, I'm not sure on that. I'm not a lawyer again. You'd have to ask a Utah lawyer because this is the first thing that came up, and this is a very new law, as you can see. Was this enacted just because of reckless Ben? Like, what the fuck? I'm not sure. But this is kind of crazy. Yeah, so this is, yeah, assault or any other felony, which again, any other felony that's a broad category, but yeah, that's a, yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. Sure.
Aggravated commercial obstruction.
The police just told Eamon that even though there's absolutely nothing to his claim against me, if they work together, maybe they can fabricate some type of charge against me.
However, the tricky thing is that we have to prove that this individual either entered or remains unlawfully on the premise. When he came to the property, did you have to ask him more than once to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, we're not leaving until we get it. And he's like, no. Like,
So Eamon's telling the police that even though they continuously told us to leave, we didn't leave.
No. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Give me one sec. Okay. So not really. You actually only need, so as far as I can tell, these are ors. This is an and then these other ones right here are ors. So it's like this or this, and this applies to all these. So enters or remains unlawfully, or as far as I know, 'cause it doesn't say or, but this is a list that says if, I would assume this is an or statement with the A and the B, intends to interfere with the employees, customers, personnel, or operations of the business, which they did, as far as I could tell, technically do. Sort of. Like, right? Like, I mean, so it's not like he had to actually enter and or remain unlawfully on the premises or in the building. He intended to interfere with these things in some fashion, right? I mean, so maybe, and then also intends to obtain unauthorized merchandise, which it's not unauthorized if it's his property, right? So that wouldn't be an issue. Alter, eradicate, or remove any merchandise, but if he tries to remove any merchandise, if it's not unauthorized, so it doesn't say unauthorized, and the law is so specific, and I'm not a lawyer, but the law is always so specific, doesn't say any unauthorized or authorized merchandise, right? Or unauthorized merchandise. So if it's his merchandise, even if it's his authorized merchandise, it could be the case that this still applies to him. Damage to face or destroy any property in the premises of the business. I don't think he necessarily did that, although maybe hanging up the sign could be a thing. Assault, any other felony, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, maybe this applies to him, so like, but yeah. Where's my fucking thing? Okay. Yeah, so maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't actually say. I'm not a lawyer, so not a Utah lawyer. You'd have to ask a Utah lawyer about that, but yeah.
But if we go back and look at the footage of what happened, this is the reality.
So when they say go to corporate, how do we respond next time? I have no idea. You have to take it up with them. It's your thing with them. That doesn't involve us. Okay. As a separate business entity, you got to take it up with them. You got to.
Separate business entity. God damn. Isn't that shitty?
Resolve it. Okay, well, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, okay, guys. Good luck. Good. Sweet, thank you. Hey, do you want to talk to them? They're on their way out. Do you want me to grab them or not?
I don't know. It kind of looks like the reality of what happened is we left too early for them. They wanted to pull us back in to keep talking to us. But we did show back up a second time, and to Ammon's credit, about halfway through the conversation, he did say that if we don't leave, he's going to call the cops on us.
You can leave. If you come back here, we will call the cops. If you don't leave right now, I will call the cops.
So you don't want to do the easy way?
And this is right after I told him you could do it either the easy way and just give us the Legos back, or we can do it the hard way, implying that we would take him to court.
So you're threatening me
I'm not threatening. We're right. Like we have a right to the Legos, so we're gonna get them the easy way or the hard way.
What proof of ownership have you provided to me that you own this Lego?
I mean, I can give you proof if you want.
Great, provide proof.
But right after he says this, he's now asking us to provide him proof that we actually are entitled to these Legos, so we can't leave now because he just told us to stay and provide proof. And then at the very end of the conversation, he says this one more time.
Okay, you've been asked to leave. Please leave.
We have to leave? Okay. Well, thank you for working with us, and so see you later.
Well, we have now all just seen the video footage of what actually happened. But now let's hear how Ammon describes it to the police.
Guys, at this point, I've asked you to leave. Please leave. Well, we you have to listen to us. You have to pay us this money. No, guys, you need to leave, and you're not leaving. But I asked multiple times.
So just notice the body cam timestamp up here is 12/10/2025. Or, I'm sorry, 10/12/2025 if you're in Europe. Or if you're UTC database compliant, it's 2025 12/10. Yeah, depends on where you're asking from and who you're asking for.
They did not leave.
Looks like that might be a second-degree felony. He's facing felony charges. It is a felony?
Yes, because I went to the corporate headquarters and tried to give Ammon the easy way out of all of this, they're now trying to get me on a second-degree felony, which I don't really know how any of...
A secondary felony, but a second-degree felony, which is so there's... First degree is the highest level of felony. Second degree will be just under that. So first degree would be like murder, rape, if you will. I won't say the full word because I'm sure people will get upset. Or maybe YouTube will get upset. But it's the second highest or the first highest level of whatever, and then you're committing the second tier of that sort of felony. Felonies can land you in jail or prison for a year or more. Misdemeanors can only land you in jail for up to a year at the most. Civil infractions can land you in jail. They can only give you like a fine or some other punishment, but they can't land you in jail. So that's how that works. And then civil suits are, things that are filed through private entities, not the government.
If this would make me get a second-degree felony, like, what the heck, police officers? But they're doing it, and the punishment for this crime is 15 years in jail.
That is a felony. That's
I don't know, like, however else, like, some of that stuff comes through, but, like, the reality is, like, we've tried to talk with him and said, we're willing to work with you.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons the police keep taking Ammon's side instead of ours, besides the whole Mormon thing, is that Ammon keeps framing the situation as he's just the helpful CEO who's trying to do the right thing and return Brian's property. And we're the ones that are preventing him from giving it back to Brian. So I say we rewatch the footage and see what actually happened.
We said we would be more than happy to help Mr. Mansell.
Yeah, because Brian said
he was unwilling to work with us.
Well, Brian said he asked for the store inventory, and that because he said like he wanted to work with you, and then you guys didn't provide the store inventory.
We asked him to provide us with any documentation, and he provided us with a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is not something that anybody, you can just walk over to a McDonald's right now and say, all of your ice cream machines belong to me. Why? Because so-and-so said so. And I have a spreadsheet that says that all these ice cream machines belong to me. That's not proof of ownership. That's not proof of anything.
So first off, this spreadsheet Ammon's referring to wasn't just some mystery spreadsheet. It was the actual inventory the store made. But I guess Ammon's trying to claim that the previous owner stole the Legos and then lied on the inventory. And so now it basically makes this inventory.
Sorry, I was trying to finish chewing before I jump back in here. So the biggest issue with this is something I had to look up in the previous Bricks and Minifigs video that I made. I don't know if I actually looked up in that video, but I don't know if I mentioned it, but Lego sets do not have serial numbers. So as you can see right here, they have a set number, which this is the actual set that is released by Lego, right? They'll have a UPC or an EAN, some sort of barcode identifier that you can mark them by, but that is literally not specific to the actual item that you're looking for. So let's say the store bought a 75075 set, and it was just a random set they bought new, right? Maybe they bought new, maybe they bought it used, but it was pretty much like new, whatever. Still sealed up. They bought it, they got it. They might not be able to tell which one is which if they had two of them, because there's no serial number on the actual product. Like, for instance, if you get an electronic component, a phone, a smartphone, a TV, or some other electronic thing, you're gonna have a serial number on it. That serial number is gonna identify that specific device that was created whenever by that company, and you'll have a model number, which is essentially equivalent to the set number, right? Um, that is, there's no way to identify a specific Lego set just based off of this. So that's another huge issue, is that Brian Menzel's Legos are completely unique. They're not unique, but they're completely generic. They have no actual unique marker on them based on, just the way Lego does Lego sets, because they probably don't assume they're gonna like actually people are gonna resell them for whatever. Um, and that's an issue. Also, why is this cost $27,000? That's not a huge number. And then 16,000 was sold. So this is even less than the estimated cost, right? Or the estimated value, right? And then this is how much was sold. So did this get paid out? Because it doesn't look like it actually got paid out at all here anyway. So it says upcoming. So is that the stuff that was sold that she had to pay him? Crystal had to pay Ben? I don't know. That's another question, because we don't actually know all the facts of this case. We're just going off of what Reckless Ben has said and what we've seen in other interviews with the actual people involved. And there hasn't been a lot of details actually released in this. I mean, we really don't know a lot. If I was investigating this, I would be wondering, like, what was actually the value of each set, because each set here, these are all the same set, and they're all listed at separate costs. So what the fuck's up with that? Right? So what the fuck's up with that? Right? This one's listed at $7.56. This was listed at almost $11. Right? What the fuck's up there? And then what's the upcoming thing? What does that mean? And then sold, obviously, if these are sold, they would be put in it, I guess, like at their value that they were sold at, and then whatever percentage would be given to Brian. But we don't have a huge. This is not a good way to do an inventory anything. And this is because this is like an Excel spreadsheet. This is not a good way to do inventory, and this is not a good way to do a consignment, for sure. Especially if the sets are worth different things. I don't know what the fuck's up there. They're all listed at different things. In fact, these values look like are they just copied? It looks like it's like, what, 765, 765, 765, 1099, 899, 760, and then they're just whoop, copy pasted whoop, right down there and right down there, which these are all different sets, right? So why, sort of two different sets, why are these highlighted? Yeah, what the fuck's going on here? I mean, really, like, this is the, I don't know what spreadsheet this is, but this looks like complete fucking bullshit. So I mean, this is why I've said from the beginning that I think Crystal Law, allegedly, I think, may have actually been the actual villain in this case, because Bricks and Minifigs didn't actually know about her consignment deal with Brian, and she completely fucked Brian and all this shit, and then sent over some random bullshit. But yeah, that's just me. So I guess I don't really matter, but yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But I know that Reckless Ben, I think, has naively gotten himself involved in this shit, and he's gotten kind of screwed, is all I can tell. I'm not sure, but it's not good.
Inventory invalid. He said that when corporate was taking over the store, that they actually did their own inventory, and this is the correct inventory.
When we took over, we did an inventory.
And good news for me, he's willing to give me this inventory. He's actually always been willing to give it to me or Brian. All we've ever had to do was ask.
We will work with you to update any Lego that does exist.
Well, we did that, and you guys...
When?
I think we've mailed it like 5 or 6 times, and we've gotten 0 response back.
Yeah, literally the first thing I did right when I heard about this entire situation was I Googled Bricks and Minifigs, clicked on their website, clicked contact us, and sent them a message. I actually got a message back from corporate saying that they would love to help, but after a few months, I kept trying to reply to this message, and they just completely ghosted me.
I think we've done like 6 over the last like 4 or 5 months.
Pull it up. Find out. Tell me when.
Let's see. I say like, hey, I don't think this ever got resolved. I'm just reaching back out right now, and then never.
Hit forward right now. Resend it.
What's the email?
That is I don't know what email address that is.
This is on your guys' website.
That says fbc.team. I said franchise at bricksandminifigs.com.
Well, this is just on the website, so.
Did I tell you look up something on the website and send it there?
Well,
did I say that just barely?
Well, that's what.
Yes or no? Did I say that?
No.
I just said send me an email to franchise at bricksandminifigs.com and we will work with that.
But you're getting mad at me because I emailed the email on the website?
You keep saying that you, like, so that...
The email on the website, actually, let's just go to their website. Bricks and Minifigs. Oops. Bricks and Minifigs. Oh boy. Have they gotten... Oh, that's all advertised. Okay. Is this Bricks and Minifigs? Media at bricksandminifigs.com. I'm wondering if they sent an email through here and they got an auto response to like what was sent, and this is through a third-party service that was it FBC whatever the fuck. I'm not sure. The fuck did I look up there? Oh, I looked up Bricks and Minifigs. I'm not sure, but yeah, he's that's a fair point. I mean, you can't just go off of what an email is on a website. He's literally telling you what to put in there. So like, that's a
I understand that, but I'm telling you right now, and you're trying to argue on something that I didn't give you any information about. I'm telling you, send it to that one.
Yeah, you're like getting upset at us that we emailed the email that was on your website.
No, I'm telling you the way to do this, and you've been probably trying to communicate with a ghost.
Well, that's your guys' fault for putting that email on the website.
Sure. Okay. Understood.
Ben, so why are you getting mad at us because we emailed the website for your instructions?
Because you continue to harass us for all sorts of things. I'm not getting mad at you.
Well, we're not harassing. We're just asking for our Legos back. If someone stole money from you and you went and politely asked for the money back, is that you harassing them?
It seems like Ammon kept either trying to stall or switch the subject. It almost seems like he doesn't want to actually give us this inventory, but he keeps saying he's willing to give it to us.
You guys can send that inventory list to us?
I do believe so, yes. I think we have sent that to Brian.
He says he said that's all he wants is the inventory list, and he'll stop like bugging you guys.
Well, then, Mr. Mansell and you, and if you want to be included on the emails with Mr. Mansell, that's totally fine. You guys can email us, and we can go.
But you guys will give him the inventory list, because he said he's been asking for it for over a year now.
We can show the inventory list that was obtained when the store was originally taken over from Crystal Law, and we can work through that process and try and identify what was or wasn't there, and also try and identify how to proceed from there.
Yeah, I think Brian gets upset because he says they always say that they'll send me the list, kind of like how you're saying, oh, we can send it easily, but then when it comes down to it, you'll never actually send it. So maybe if you actually go ahead and send it, it would make him feel better.
Well, I understand what you're trying to get at. I'm more than willing to work with you and help you.
So for some reason I highly fucking doubt that. But I understand where I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I understand where Ammon is coming from here. That he says that you shouldn't be, if you're trying to get involved in something, like the contact page over here is not meant for like actual like legal stuff or like this is just some bullshit, right? They have a phone number listed, so I mean, you could just call them. Now, whether or not you get through to them, store locator. This is This is media inquiries, so this is some other bullshit. But yeah, I understand what he's saying in a way. Like, I'm not trying to to, you know, like get on his side. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I understand what he's saying. There's a, you know, there's a better way to go about this than just going to the website, pulling up an email, and just sending stuff to it. I'm assuming you can't obviously. Actually, can we tell you what? We can maybe take a look at this. Let's see. Oh fuck! Hold on. Can you? Yeah, go to the bottom. Ooh, this probably goes through some sort of yeah. So this is definitely going through some kind of JavaScript. So this is not. Yeah, this is posting whatever. I highly doubt. Yeah, this is not like a standard like I'm sending this to your email sort of link type thing. This is going through JavaScript and all that. So this isn't like a, you know, you can pull the email out of it and suddenly, you know, just send it right to that email. This is a little more complicated than that, as you can see here. Yeah, there's a this goes through reCAPTCHA and all that. That's a Google thing. So yeah. Anyway, so this is not, you know, this is not like your standard like just like let me copy your email and put it in. Like obviously media inquiries, they have an email for that. But this is all other inquiries. This is probably not going to franchise at bricksandminifigs.com. But yeah, so yeah. About to jump out of this video, and I'll do a part 2, picking this back up. But I just wanted to jump in on this as soon as I could because this shit's crazy. Again, these timestamps don't necessarily line up, and I'm kind of confused. But okay, it does look like it's in real time as well, which is really weird. But okay.
That's what I'm saying. Send an email to that email address that I just gave to you, and that will produce results.
But anyways, I sent an email to the email.
There you go. So we actually sent a direct email, I guess if this is a screenshot, to franchise at bricksandminifigs.com, which is probably how franchise owners or people that want to start a franchise communicate with them.
He told me about, not the one on their website. That's a bad email. Don't ever email that one or the CEO is going to be pissed. But according to Ammon, now that I've sent this email, I should be receiving the inventory list very soon. So I waited all day and I got no answer. So?
All right, I'll tell you what, let's leave it there because we're about halfway through. Let's leave it there. I will do a part 2 to this. I don't know if I'll do it tonight or not. It depends. But this is fascinating. I am excited to see this part of it, and I believe it's gonna have a part 4 as well. So we'll see. It could be very interesting. But yeah, we're over an hour already, and I don't want to drag this out too much because I've literally watched 24 minutes, and I'm literally over an hour. So you can't get me for copyright on this motherfucker because fucking this is fair use, and I have added a lot. I have I have highly altered this. But no, I wish the best of Reckless Ben though. This is a great this is a great series, and I highly recommend go and watch the full series and watch all of his other series. Really awesome, great channel, and he deserves the recognition for this. But yeah, I will be back at some point for the part 2, and we'll pick it up right from here. Was that 2412? Just remind me. All right. Yeah. I'll post all the appropriate links below, as well as in the next one. But yeah, Reckless Ben, this motherfucker. Here we are again. Anyway, peace.